Hi, everybody. This is a video about the initial years of Indian agriculture since India's independence. In the initial years post-independence, India faced challenges in terms of food shortages, and the government had to resort to importing food grains to address the shortfall. Between 1951 and 1966, grain production rose at the rate of 2.8% per annum, a rate that failed to keep up the rate of growth in India's population. Thus, from the mid-1950s, India began to rely on import of food grains to feed its growing population. In 1956, India signed the Agreement of Public Law 480 with the United States to receive food aid, mostly in the form of wheat. A series of tragic political and natural circumstances increased foreign food dependency. After two wars, one with China in 1962 and another with Pakistan in 1965, India found itself in a deadlock because large amounts of resources had to be channeled to meet defense needs, and as a result, rural investments were sacrificed. Then two consecutive droughts in 1965 and 66 plunged the country into an unprecedented food crisis. The food grain production and yield declined by 19% and 17% in those 2 years. The country's food security was so precarious that India and the rest of South Asia were predicted to be heading for a famine that would claim 10 to 20 million lives by 1975. To avoid massive starvation, food grain imports were increased. Against the backdrop of the Cold War, food aid was used to arm twist the recipient countries to seek compliance. Now, in order to end this dependence, India adopted a new agricultural policy in 1965. In January 1965, the Agricultural Prices Commission was set up to recommend a MSP, minimum support price, followed by the Food Corporation of India, FCI, to take charge of the logistics of procuring major agricultural commodities. In the same year, India took a bold step by allowing the introduction of new HYD, high-yielding seed varieties, of wheat from Mexico. In 1966, India ordered the import of 18,000 tons of HYD wheat seeds that were distributed in the highly irrigated areas of Punjab, Haryana, and western Uttar Pradesh, UP. Under the new agricultural policy, the spread of HYEs was supported by public investments in fertilizers, power, irrigation, and credit. Under the new agricultural policy, the spread of HYEs was supported by public investments in fertilizers, power, irrigation, and credit. The total amount of food grains harvested increased from 74 metric tons in 1966 to 67 to 105 metric tons in 1971 to 72. And that year India became self-sufficient, with grains imports declining to nearly zero also. Rural poverty declined significantly in this phase, from 64% to 56%, thereby marking a significant increase in farmer incomes.